This is the 6th annual Northern Slam, and I am your host, Twan Simultaneous. Tonight we have an amazing showcase of 13 superb poets who are going to throw down on this stage and make an experience like no other. They are going to represent the North Slam proud as they go on to compete against Valley Slam for the Grand Slam title. And in my experience of being out here at Riverside and near Deer Park, poetry is very live. So, with that said, I'm looking at you judges. You have a great honor and privilege to make sure these poets are treated with the respect and appreciation for their art. And my crowd, my audience of families, friends, and poet enthusiasts are going to let you hear it if you don't give them the proper score. So, with that said, let's get into this. With our first judge, they are a former Deer Park librarian who loves twists and turns, inventive and odd stories. Besides reading, she enjoys barbecues in the backyard, flower gardening, time with family, and spending Fridays with her 4-year-old granddaughter. Give it up for Amanda Carpenter. She created Speakeasy Open Mic at Bijou on the South Hill of Spokane, Washington, March of 2022, and performed her poetry in October at Terrain of 2022. She loves being in a creative community that supports and inspires people to collaborate and grow. Give it up for Serotonin Roni. She holds a BA from Whitworth University in English writing and an MFA in poetry from Eastern Washington University. She currently writes about emerging technology in corporate settings, but locally her work has been featured in Out There Monthly, The Faith Community, and news and interview programming on Thin Air Community Radio. Give it up for Meredith Jeffries. He works as a diversity, equity, and inclusion specialist. He has a master's in creative writing with a poetry emphasis. He spends his free time watching hamster reels and attempting to write the perfect dad joke. Give it up for Mark Cuella. Suwilla. I'm messing you up, man. I'm sorry about that. With that said, he has a background in theater and education with a side of linguistics and cultural anthropology. His experience falls in the performance spheres, and he has a passion for modernists, Martians, flarf, and sung poetry. Give it up for Matthew McKinney. These are the 5 judges. Remember their names. But please keep your tomatoes and your pitchforks at your side. Embrace them with love, just as they will embrace our poetry and our poets with honest and love of various sorts, even if it's tough. So, the thing is with a slam, each poet tonight will have 60 seconds to 3 minutes to perform their craft. In that time, they will also be given an additional 10 seconds so that if they go over the duration of that 3 minutes, there's a little bit of time for them to get a last few words out. Anything that goes over 3 minutes and 10 minutes will start being docked 0.5 points from the total that our judges give to them. All 5 of these scores will be ranged from a score of 1 to 10, and the top and bottom score will both be canceled out with the 3 middle scores determining each poet's final score before penalties. At the end of the first round, 7 poets will move on to the second round, and there will be an intermission. During the intermission, you will be able to engage with one another, talk about your favorite poem of the night. But most importantly, when a poet is on this stage, I want absolute silence. You do not speak until these poets leave, and I want you to get loud for them as the poetry enthusiasts that each and every last one of you are. So, who's ready for some slam poetry? So, as I was mentioning with slam etiquette, again, keep your applause low, to yourself until it's over. Then go crazy. So, the Friends of the Deer Park Library are the sponsors of the Northern Slam Poetry that we are having tonight. They provide the cash for prizes. And so if there's anyone in the audience tonight who are friends of Deer Park Library, can I get a show of hands? All right. Can we give them a round of applause for helping make this thing live, for funding the arts and making sure creativity gets their due? Because, hey, dollar bill. With that said, before we get into our first poet of the night, we have to sacrifice a poet to the poetry gods and let them know that we are ready for a night of engagement and peer energy. And we have just the perfect poet who is going to start this evening right. So with that said, our sacrificial poet of the night is no other than AP the Warrior. Give it up for him one time.
I, self-lord and master. I'm the warrior who likes to write. I'm a poet who likes to fight. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm AP the Warrior, mindset of euphoria. Pockets stay on hippopotamus, that's Gloria. Doing this for the glory of my people and me. It was about 3 years ago I planted that seed. You can call this the 54th Massachusetts Regiment Infantry. Glory. No Denzel, but I win well. Not Morgan Freeman, but I am a free man. I am adventurous. I am a seeker. I'm from the land of the blessed ones. I am a RBS, a real big speaker. I give thanks for my daily adventure when I rise like the sun. Those are signs mine. I seek them like the moon, full of blessings. Always rising, never stressing, past tense, never stressed. I flip stressed backwards. I eat desserts. Never going back, never revert to earth consciousness. I rose above it. It's 6 feet social distance in the dirt. Shovel it. No McDonald's, I make love it. The way the words play with themselves. Flying out like gusts of wind, books flying off the shelf. I got more spirit than Will Ferrell when I'm on stage. I'm talking elf. I put my all into this. I know these words are felt. Heart before that. I made a pact to never lack, to drop the L and act right. In that pact with the law, he says, show him thanks and give him praise, and the people I shall ignite. Do this on stage, and a star shall be born this night. Real bright. Thank y'all.
Give it up for AP the Warrior. And now, judges, you have the duty of giving us a score. So on the count of 3, I want to see those scores raised. 1, 2, 3. From my left to right, we have an 8.5, a 9.3, an 8.9, an 8.5, and a 7.8. You gotta get louder than that. Come on. Don't, you ain't gonna hurt my feelings. I'm on the stage. I'm feeling these boos too. Get loud. All right. We'll work on this. Man. All right. Judges. Our scorekeepers. We got a score. Oh, there it is. 25.9 for AP the Warrior. So, before I left this stage, I was mentioning cash prizes courtesy of Spokane, the Friends of the Spokane Valley Library. And tonight, there are going to be 3 prizes for our top 3 poets. We have third place getting a whole $50 bill, or 20s and a 10, or 10 5s, 51s. I don't know what you're going to do with 51s, but yeah, I don't know. We have, second place, we have a whole $100 bill. All about the Benjamins. And we have, for the first place, we have a whole $150. But beyond all that, it's about representing poetry and representing the North Slam against the Valley and taking it home and bringing it back to all the supporters here tonight that make this thing happen. So I know with that said, there are 7 of you that are going to move on this evening. But nonetheless, each and every last one of you getting on this stage tonight is a winner. Every last one of you tonight are speaking out, doing something that a lot of people would have fear of just ever thinking of doing. So that in itself is an accomplishment. And it's only up from here for each and every last one of you. So, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's do this. So, the first poet, who we have on deck? We have Gage Sicam from Lakeside High School. And gracing the stage first in this beautiful night of creativity is no other than Creeann Jarman from Riverside High School. Get loud!
My head is filled with poetry, odes waiting to pour out of me, and I'm sick to my stomach. I'm tired of rhyming and timing and rewriting again, only to end up with a poem I think could be better, but I don't know how to change it. And so I spend the next 5 minutes staring at a full page, but imagining it blank. And I start again. I write and write and write and write and write until my head is swimming in words like incomprehensible, hypothetically, inconceivable, completely and utterly incorrigible. And it's when I'm finally starting to fall asleep at night that I think, wait, I have another line. And for 3 more hours, I'm writing and obsessing and erasing and pacing. I'm up until 3 a.m. writing poems that don't have meaning, making stories that don't have beginnings, middles, or ends, forcing words to fit together into tight sentences and even tighter stanzas. I'm confused on how Shakespeare did this. 154 sonnets, and still he never ran out of ideas. He's still a greater writer than I will ever be, but I aspire to be better than I am. Better at connecting words to form song-like writings. Better at performing them in front of people whose job it is to judge me. Better at alliteration. Because according to animosity, I'm always assuming the authority of anybody, accepting the abandoned and avoiding attention. Did that make sense? My rhyme schemes are acceptable, but sometimes debatable, because if I rhyme me with B one more time, you'll see. And it's not that I hate poetry or the art of rhyming or even connecting words with letters of equal standing. It's that I'm supposed to be good at everything. A jack of all trades, but it's poetry I picked. My lethal weapon. Poetry is the sword that I drew because out of poet, soldier, and king, well, the first one sounds good enough to me. So these words that fill journals and books, these are the sharp-edged knife that I will cut you down with. Rather than my fists, I fight with illusion. Rather than ammunition, I find words that hit just a bit different, words that make your head spin and your heart stop, because even as a jack of all trades, I chose one. And still I find it hard to accomplish. I find juggling with words to be my least favorite pastime, yet I do it so often I'm on constant rewind. 124 notes in my notes app, but don't forget about the journals in my backpack, or even the poems I wrote haphazardly on my school computer while I was supposed to be doing history. That's enough poems to beat Shakespeare's sonnets. The problem is, none of them are good enough to present. So do Shakespeare and Dickinson, Whitman and Frost, Angelo and Poe, Silverstein and Plath. I commend you on your work, because your cup of tea is a weapon. Poets and poetry.
Give it up again for Creeann Jarman. Judges, on the count of 3, can I see those scores? 3, 2, 1. From my left to right, we have an 8.8. There we go. That ain't no 9. Come on. That's the spirit, the vicious. An 8.6. An 8.7. An 8.5. Oh, and we have a 9.3. And scorekeepers, do we have a grand total? We have a 26.1 for Creeann. On deck, we have Eleanor Brown. But before we get to them, we have next Gage Sicam. Get loud.
Foul, rancid, noxious. Bodies lie in state. What's that smell? That smell, it penetrates. Blood fills the streets. It runs, it runs. Blood fills up to the nasopharynx, filling up high throughout cavities. The cell warriors put on their armor, getting ready to defend their honor. They march down frontal lobe way. Through the process it decays. Slithering through the sylvian fissure, little blood-celled Tommy starts missing her. A woman's casket preserves the body. The blood cell army dams the way, all of them knowing that it's gonna decay. Leaving behind their antiquarian, it is a loss that they are willing to take. But it was always the fate. The waterfall begins to fall right upon the coffin wall. The decaying body tries to hold it back. It then, finally, breaks its slack. The army screams, "We won, we won." Paul Revere then quivers in fear. The British are back, they're here, they're here. The fall's warm in irony, yet the body is as cold as a tiger. There's no stopping the red blood of Niagara. The Reverend opens and sees that little red army spilling upon his knees. The church screams in fear. The body's mother says, "Hold me, dear." That little army flowed. They flowed down the road, leaving their abode to decompose. Thank you.
Get loud for Gage one more time. Judges, you know the drill. On the count of three, can I see those scores? 3, 2, 1. We have an 8.2. We have a 7.7. There we go. 7.2. We have a, is that an 8.2? An 8.2, yeah. Come on. And another 8.2. Come on, man. Stop copying her. All right. And scorekeepers, what is our final score? A 24.1. How we feeling, crowd? We feeling good. All right. It's only going to get even more exciting from here. What we have next up on deck, we have E.T. Toboban, and gracing your ears right now is Eleanor Brown.
The game of life. You get a car, career, and kids. You choose a color and the ideal way to live, the game of life. But life isn't a game. You don't just pick a card to change your fate. You don't spin the wheel to make your day. Because we haven't got a clue. Everyone waltzing step by step from room to room, thinking they know who killed who. It was Plum with the revolver in the conservatory. But life's not some light-hearted murder mystery. It's complex. It's meshed with others' lives. They say, sorry for the trouble. Roll again or pop the pop-o-matic bubble to see if you can reverse your spin. Get a number between 1, 2, and 10.
you'll win. The game of life. But life isn't a game. You can't just rule the day. You auction off properties, paying heftily to be the monopoly. But life isn't monopoly. It's poverty. It's broccoli, not confectionery. We don't stand in candy land, so eat your veggies and have a balanced diet. Stack the cards just so against your opponent. Our life's purpose isn't to reach King Candy's castle. It's instead a never-ending battle, not the kind where you strategically place your ships to win, hit, or lose, miss, but one with rights and wrongs and good and bad. It's a never-ending struggle that's hard to understand. Life is precariously balanced. In a tipsy Jenga tower, don't pull the wrong wood block or your tower topples over. The game of life. But life isn't a game, the game of life. But life's not quite the same. It isn't little red and white pegs that represent the best part of you, and the worst, the cursed, the dregs. It isn't colorful little squares that illustrate each step, old, new, or fair. It isn't solid wooden blocks that stack all your shameful failures up, then kerplop. The game of life. But life isn't a game. Life is so much better. Something more than just a win that claims your fame, or cards, or dice. It's enemies and bad advice. Friends and making nice, love and fate's design. We can't play pretend because now is the time for reality. In its awful, complicated, wonderful entirety, to take the win and win back our life.
Give it up for Eleanor. On deck, we have Gracie Maier. But coming to the stage next is E.T. Gillard. Oh, I'm skipping steps over here. I'm excited, man. I'm skipping steps. I need to calm down. Oh, man, give me some water. Woo. All right. Judges, I gave you more than 3 seconds, so let me see them scores. Ooh, all right, this is good. We have a 9.2. We have an 8.8. We have a 9.1. We have an 8.8. And we have a perfect 9.0. Should be a 10. And what is our final score? We have a 26.9. So back to what I was saying, while I was getting ahead of myself, the excitement. On deck we have Gracie Maier. But right now, I want you to get loud for... Ooh. Wait. Let's rewind. All right. E.T., you're on deck. Hold back. Please, wherever you are, E.T., hold back. Up next, we have Isaiah Brown.
Let me find it real quick. All right. This poem doesn't have a title yet, sadly. When I die, I don't want my soul to come back, fleeting yet again in Earth's gravitational pull. I want my soul to go barreling into the high heavens, way beyond Earth, into something incomprehensible. When I die, I don't want to come back. I want to be just as Earth's birth giver, to become one of it, become a controlled combustion, constantly spinning, hurling through space, become what sheds light, so that enormous boulders are no longer cloaked. Cloaked in the abyss, they would be no longer. And to add color to such a thing, to paint what was once stole, an empty canvas waiting to be found, to let the colors pop out and bring forth life. When I die, I want to become a combustional engine, an autonomous machine, creating the energy, the drive, supporting whoever wanting to take a ride called life. Huh? Oh. Oh, God. Okay. I haven't done this before.
Give it up for Isaiah Brown. Love the stage so much, he ain't going nowhere. He's like, I'm here. That's a poet for you. All right, judges, 3, 2, 1. Give me those scores. We have an 8.0. We have a 7.4. We have a 7.5. We have an 8.0. And we got an 8.1. Judges, scorekeepers, can I see those scores? That final score. 23.5. On deck, we have Gracie Maier. And E.T., it's your time. Give it up for E.T.
Test. All right. Forgive me. I'm short. Okay. It's not my fault. It might be, honestly. All right. How did he succeed in his greed, his rise to power so sweet that it's sour, a bare taste that you hate, but his humor and honor, well, it makes you a goner for hearing him hype his ideas to harm those who he hates, and those who he hates are forced out of homes, only one way to go, so why stop? Holocaust. Orders to ostracize those who don't organize into approved orders out of the others. It's the friends and the neighbors whose harping's the breaker. You can't get the papers to occupy other residents. So on trains, on watch, on guard, on each other, with so little space in such a tight-fitting case, optimists oppose what they already know, Holocaust. Lists and lines divided, longing for loved ones lost to time. Listen and look, because that's all it took. A lingering seconds enough to teach you a lesson. Labels that last and brandings are cast into your arm with permanent ink in order to link you to a lower level than that of your oppressor's Holocaust. Off of the train, oblivious to the operations they're about to receive that claim to make clean odor of those who out of the options were proved to be useless, their actions excuseless. Often overlooked is the arrogance of experiments done out of carelessness, oblivious to what waits on the other side of the overwhelming genocide, Holocaust. Concentration camps that are packed and cramped with beds stacked all the way to the ceiling. Conditions are complex, not knowing what is next, careful not to upset those in control, so just watch your own to be certain of survival. Holocaust. Alive and awaiting armed forces, our saviors, abandoned by those who gave a slimmer of hope, so no reason to mope around for those who may never arrive. Where goes the time? Tick, tick, tick. Holocaust. Silence. And shock fills the air. The stain on humanity's history, not cleared, merely smeared. Sound travels through time, and with it the cries of those who struggled to survive just 77 years ago. Holocaust. Thus there begs the issue that today in the streets, those who don't meet those certain requirements are targeted for torture and treatment unfit of a human being, because that's what they are. Some may sit up in the stars, but others are around to tell tales of torture that you don't want to think about, because such a tough topic is so hard to talk about. all because it's the Holocaust.
Give it up for E.T. 3, 2, 1. Judges, can I get those scores? We have an 8.9, a 9.1, another 9.1. That's the copying cat I like. And we have an 8.1. And we have an 8.0. Scorekeepers, the brains behind the operation. What do we have? We have a 26.1 for E.T. On deck, we have Ben Willis. Up next, we have Gracie Maier. Get loud!
Hello, my name is Gracie Maier, and this poem is called Stars of You. The stars are so proud to know that their atoms have created you. The stars are not liars, only lovers, searching with pride that their infinite amount of electrons and protons and neutrons have created someone like you. Upon the Big Bang that led to your creation, the incredible force that pulled these three particles together, this force that was of one thing: love. Love for you. They are as proud of you as they are of the birds and the bees, of the grass that you step on and bristles against your feet. They are proud of you every time you feel a song and your heart marches with the beat, every time you learn something new, every time you take a breath, and every second you exist, every time you witness a leaf fall, every time you tell someone you love them. For that is their creation too, and you are attracted to the rest of humanity and the rest of the universe like protons are to electrons. And although they did not mean for hatred and anger to rift in your existence, it must be done. For sometimes things aren't attracted. For sometimes there has to be the neutron, the middleman and the one singled out. The stars are proud of you, even when you're at your worst. When you break people's hearts and shout and yell and shake in spite and bitterness, when you feel like you can't take it anymore, that there's nothing to live for, and that nobody loves you, this is not true. Stars are not liars, only lovers. They love you. No matter what bad or good deeds you have done, they love you for living and functioning and moving and existing. They are proud of you. When you look around and see your company as an empty hall of nothingness, know that it isn't. Those walls in that hall, and the locked doors you can't open, and the floor that's unclean are all proud of you. That everything is made of stars, and stars are made of you, even at rock bottom. Know that the light is the stars, and the darkness is too. They have created both, and therefore have created you, and they will be proud of all of this until the end of time. When the black holes open up and meet each other and kiss and will swallow all of the debris in this romantic endeavor, they will still be so proud. Even when they have disappeared into true darkness and there's nothing to see and nothing to be seen and there will no longer be stars and there will no longer be you. Even then, the stars will be proud of creating stars of you. Thank you.
Show some love for Gracie. Judges, can I see those scores on the count of 3? 3, 2, 1. We have a 9.3. We have a 9.2, a 9.5, an 8.8, and a 9.5. There we go. Bring it back up. All right. So, Brainiacs, What is our final score? Oh, we have a perfect 28. That's just a beautiful number. That's a beautiful number. All right. So, on deck, we have Serenity Chrisman. But right now, coming to the stage, we have Ben Willis.
Once in a land not very far away, there lived many people, and some were astray. They all had their problems, be it money, be it spite. But every single day they had to fight. Fight for what was right, fight for what was wrong. Some would try to wrestle, some would merely join the throng. Quite a few of them longed for something better, but they made an excuse, be it fear or bad weather. But there were these thoughts in the back of their minds. Some new ideas could be considered crimes. Better to stay quiet, better not to try it. Stay quiet, stay quiet, stay quiet. And those that did help and did follow through, they were seen as crazy for their new point of view. The people all yelled, they shouted and cried. Some of them shook their heads and sighed. Who are they to say our world is bad? I'm going to go and tell my dad. People pushed through the streets, they shouted and shoved, they ran to retreats in this world that they loved. Now, some people were different. They had different ways of life. Some people were indifferent, others screamed or grabbed a knife. How dare those people live like that in ways that are so strange? Why can't they see and act like us? They must be quite deranged. The leaders who agreed with this were honored and were loved, but if they disagreed with this, were ridiculed and were shoved. So these people went along and accepted the exception. They felt they'd never get a positive reception. And still, these people had many problems of their own, like dusting or paying the bills on the phone, like going to work and engaging in labor so they could be handed a stack of green paper. Paper they worshipped and traded for goods, like hats and socks and coats with hoods. The people lived all over the place, even in alleyways, for goodness sakes. The people disliked those that didn't live in houses. They could carry germs like rats and mouses. Yes, mouses, I said, for some were well read, but most could not tell you a thing a book said. For these people were illiterate, they couldn't read it or consider it. They couldn't read what they'd done wrong. All the cruelty going on. Instead, they stared at little boxes that they held within their hands, viewing the world through an imaginary lens. For these people were astray. They all lived in their own way, be it good or be it bad, be it happy, be it sad. Yes, all these people were the same. They were playing the same game. Yet they all had their problems, be it money, be it spite, but at least they could briefly stall the fight when they laid down their heads to go to bed at night. We should all be thankful this land is not real, because can you imagine how horrible that would feel? Just think it and blink till it appears. The sight you see should bring you to tears. Now tell me, can you imagine that? Why, it's just as absurd as a cat in a hat.
Let me hear some noise for Ben Willis. Judges, you know the routine. 3, 2, 1. Let me see those scores. We have a 9.0. We have a 7.8. We have an 8.9. We have an 8.5 and an 8.9. The brains. What's our final score? Because I can't count. 26.3. On deck, we have Helena Rink. But before we get to her, we have, I need you to get loud, for Serenity Chrisman. Come on, get loud.
Oh, this is so high. Okay, this one's called Society.
Society is ugly and disgusting. People don't care about your feelings, so we need to be better people for society. How do you say you know me if you just want my body? How are you? I'm fine. Society is the place where we've learned how to lie, where we've learned how to not talk about our feelings. It's the place where we learn how to always be strong and to never give up. Follow your dreams and look to the future. Is this what we've turned to as a person? We're this or we're that, but not if it makes you look fat. If you're thin, get thicker, but if you're too thick, you're fat. You wear makeup, but not too much, or you're an attention seeker. We text because we're too afraid to talk face to face. We scroll through Instagram and TikTok and all these other social media apps instead of going outside or hanging with our friends and family. This isn't how society should be. Society should be a fun place where we have fun with our friends and family and go outside. Enjoy. But that's not how society is anymore. Society has turned into an ugly and disgusting place. Is this what we've turned to?
Get loud for Serenity. Judges, let me see those scores. 3, 2, 1. We have an 8.2, a 7.6. There we go. 7.2, 8.2, and an 8.0. Can I get those final scores, please? We have a 23.8. On deck, we have Gino Lawler. But first, next is Helena Rink.
My name is Helena, not Helena. Big Beauty will always say that I am not pretty because mental breakdowns need covered up by CoverGirl concealer and a disgusting yellow crescent. I will never be pretty. Bright blue eyes need curtains of gold with too much foundation because we're too old to cry, let alone show the streaks they leave behind. I will never be pretty. Chubby cheeks need contour, small lips need big liner, small lashes need curled, and dark bags need light cover-up lies. These are Big Beauty standards, and I will never be pretty. Blonde girlies need tiny waist, fair skin, white teeth, blue eyes, and big thighs, but yet no tummy. I will never be pretty. Broken homes need a pretty face covered in makeup, dark hair, and clothes with a cheap nightlife. I will never be pretty. Smarties need big glasses, a dorky smile, pigtails, and to never go to a party. I will never be pretty. Athletes need big biceps, a six-pack, and to lift 180 pounds, and I can't. So I will never be pretty. Loud mouths need big lips, green eyes, and bright hair of fire. I will never be pretty. I will never be pretty. I will never be pretty. Big Beauty will always tell us that we're not pretty unless we're skinny but not bony, curvy but not fat, be fair but not pasty, nor have any melanin, have no acne but still look real, act modest but still show some skin, dress up but not too much, wear makeup but don't cake it on, look and act young but still be mature, speak up but not too loud, eat up but that's too much when we go back for our second plate, and never ever let ourselves go. Even if we've worked every night shift and have 3 kids, we must be pretty. We are told to live up to big beauty standards. But in reality, when will we ever be pretty?
Get loud for Helena! We have 4 readers left before intermission. So I need you to get really loud for me. I need you to show a lot of love from here on out. And I want those boos, too. You know, some of them boos. You know, nothing wrong with booing the judges. Just don't boo the judges, man. You got to deal with me. You know? I can't take all of you on. No. All right. So, on deck. Oh. We're going to figure this out. I promise. All right. 3, 2, 1. They're already there. All right. We have an 8.9, a 9.9, an 8.9, an 8.3, and a 9. An 8.9, an 8.3, and a 9.0. Our final score. Can I see those numbers one more time? All right, one second. There's things being moved around here. All right. So we have an 8.9. We have a 7.9. We have an 8.9, an 8.3, and a 9.0. For a total of 26.1. On deck, we have Elijah Bonham. But first, we have Abi Harget.
It's a girl. My mother's doctor told my parents when they had already picked out a good biblical name, a name for a boy. So I would be a good man in the way only a man can be. The first time I was told to hate being a woman, I was 5, sitting cross-legged in a church nursery. Women are weak. They can't resist doing what they know is wrong, and they tempt others to do wrong too. It's classic Genesis. As women, we will always take a bite of the apple and give in to the serpent. So as women, we must bleed, we must cry, we must writhe under the pain of our sins. Amen. Womanhood is more than my XX chromosomes. I am a woman because I am lesser than. I am a woman for the instant gratification of pleasure over holiness. I am a woman because I deserve the pain of Eve's sins. Not all women menstruate, but God, if we don't all bleed, a bleeding womanly heart aches. I am a woman, too dirty for purity culture, but clean enough to wear the ring. I am clothed in an off-white dress and ready for you. I am a woman, but I don't know what a woman is. Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson was asked to define being a woman, and the jury is still out on that. But Margaret Atwood taught me that womanhood is running from a gaze that isn't mine but internalized. And my mother taught me that womanhood is getting cut open and suturing yourself. And the church taught me that I am a wife, a bearer of God-fearing men. But I am not Sarah, mother of Isaac. I've been declared unfit to be mother of nations. I am not a sinner washed clean. I am not a clean woman. I don't know what I am if I'm not washed clean, if I am condemned to the fiery pits. Then I am enthused to be a fiery woman. I spit flames with my words and my syntax can burn. And the smoke rises. My candle is lit by the fiery woman before me, uplifting me and embracing us. We are wrong because we are brazen. We are wrong. But we are women. All of our worst traits are his best traits. Isn't that fun? I am taught to hate being a woman when you belittle my ignorance and scoff through your own uncertainty. But I love being a woman. I love being a mixture of every woman I've ever loved, ever held, ever kissed, ever known. We are a force. I love my fire and the debris of destruction it creates, not daring to clean it up. I'm dirty. I catch ash on my tongue like pure snowflakes. And I smile to know that I and every woman with me, every woman before me is unclean. I was born to be a nasty woman. Thank you.
Get loud for Abi! Judges, on the count of 3, 3, 2, 1, let's go. We have a 9.0, an 8.9, a 9.5, a 9.2, and a 9.3. And we have a final score of 27.5. On deck, we have the last poet of the round in Brandon Dean. But before we get to them, we have Elijah Bonham. Get loud.
This one does not have a name yet. You see me in pain and how hard I have to fight. You listen to them whisper all those unholy things behind my sight. If only the others could see me the way you do, they'd understand on why I chose you. You've always been here. You've always been here since the first day we met. We've always had a connection, and I'm very grateful for that. Even with all the things you've heard about me, you always looked past it and chose to love me. When the day comes to when I have to say goodbye, I hope you know you've never made me want to die. If I ever stumble and make you want to cry, I hope you know I'll never feel so high. Every day I see you, my smile gets big. Every time I'm with you, I feel like I'm in a racing gig. I wish I would have met you sooner than I currently did, for the world around me has never felt so big. Before you came into my life was so dull. Before you came into my life has never felt so full. You gave me joy, and I'm so glad we can enjoy, for you have always been here, and you have made it clear that you never leave me, and we could just see that we were meant to be and we're meant to feel free. So I hope you never have to see the pain, so we don't have to make another chain, for the pain that I face could just be a waste, also considering I've been blessed with an ace. Thank you.
Get loud for Elijah! Oh, it is getting tense. We have heard some amazing poetry, but we are not done yet. We have one more poet before our intermission. And of course, I have a lot more to go over before the intermission because, man, poetry is live and it exceeds beyond just tonight. With that said, let me see those scores. 3, 2, 1. 8.1, 8.5, 8.0, 8.1, and an 8.7. Can I see those final scores, please? A 24.7 for Elijah. And so, before we get to our intermission, I have an announcement here. We have the Lakeside versus Riverside Slam coming up, and that is going to be absolutely amazing. That is going to showcase the 7 best versus the 7 best. It's like the all-star game of poetry, and I can't wait to see that come to reality. So, what we also have going on, we have the Poet Laureate of the United States coming to Spokane, Washington, April 20th through the 23rd. So this is a great opportunity for all students and poet enthusiasts alike to meet the one and only Ada Lemon. Can we get it loud for Ada Lemon? Come on, it's the United States Poet Laureate. April 11th is why we're all here ultimately, is to see the inaugural Northern Verse Valley Grand Slam So we are going to see for the first time the best of the best duking it out to bring this lovely trophy right here home. Look at this 3D printed, drenched in gold. This is real gold right here. So respect it. Look at that fist with a microphone. That's each and every last one of you poets tonight. So you bring this home to Riverside, okay? But don't you tell the Valley I said that, okay? This is between us. Right. So, are you ready to hear our top 7 poets going in to the final round? I said, are you ready to hear the top 7 poets going into the final round? Bear with me. And so, we have our top 7. But before I get into that top 7, can I get a round of applause for every poet who read tonight? So, in order of how these poets will be reading in the next round, first up will be Brandon Dean. Second will be Abi Harget. Third will be Helena Rink. Fourth is Ben Willis. Fifth is Gracie Maier. Sixth is E.T. And seventh is Eleanor Brown. And of course, I forgot that part that you want me to add in there. But we're going to go into this intermission. And poets, if you haven't, turned in your photo ID, your photo relief form, give it to your teachers. That's your assignment for the week. Go home and sign that and bring it to your teachers. And with that said, we're going to go into this intermission. Judges, thank you for letting me, berate you and show you all the tough love. I truly admire each and every one of you brilliant minds and what you bring to this table and to the show. So with that said, poets, you bring it in the second round, because I heard everything from Candyland to Cats in the Hats to Stars and genocide and a little bit of everything about love and self-hate and expression and, ambitions. And it is beautiful. And that's the beauty of this art. The mind just runs and we go to wherever the journey takes us for each and every poet. So I'll see you. What are we thinking? Oh, so the school that got the trophy is Riverside. Can I get louder than that? Can we come on. Riverside! And we're going to go to intermission. We'll be back soon. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Riverside, Lakeside. How are we feeling after that intermission? I hope you got hydrated. Poets, if you get thirsty, there's water next to that judge. If they give you a mean score, you give them that look while you take that water. Yeah, I'm drinking your fear. All right. So here we are, second round, and we're going to start this off with a bang because we actually had a tie in the first round. So we don't only just have 7 poets. We have 8 poets that are going to be reading in the second round. Can we get loud for those 8 poets? Welcome to the North Slam Finals. And in order again, because, sometimes we are forgetful. I know I am. Obviously. We are having first Brandon Dean, Abi Harget, Helena Rink, Ben Willis, Gracie Maier, E.T., Eleanor Brown, and Creeann Jarman. That is your top 8 for the night. And so, with that said, Y'all ready to do this? All right. Are you ready to do this? I want you to get loud for me. Judges, are you ready? Are you ready to boo? There is going to be no boo because they're going to get these scores right. All right. With that said, on deck we have Helena Rink. Ooh, caught myself that time. We have Helena Rink on deck. And up next we have Abi Harget. Get loud.
I had never written a eulogy before, but for a concept so dear, one is earned. To introduce myself, I was a dear friend of the not-so-newly deceased. I am mourning, I grieve for my soft heart, for my naivete, and I grieve for my sandbox friendships. Sandbox friends come about in a way that is circumstantial, but with a love that is deep and untainted. An innocent love. My sandbox friends have started throwing the shards in my eyes. It stings and burns, but with a certain clarity. Flash forward to the tweenage stage, my sandbox friends have come into their own and found new ways to throw their sand. Regurgitating hatred and ignorance, it's underdeveloped but grubby and ugly and squirming. So parasitical that untreated spreads, grows, squeezes around your internal organs until you convulse with it. I grieve. Because my sandbox friends aren't mine anymore. They click, click, click into their little clicks, groups with the same skin, mind, and eyes with which they view the world. They throw their sand in tandem, and God, it hurts. Sand is an exfoliant. Sure, it's exfoliating too deeply. I'm raw. And sand is still thrown. Sand is thrown when I'm 12 and hear my friend's brother be told to go back to Mexico. Sand is thrown when you choose to say that word. But out of habit only, you assure me, sand is thrown within every debate, big and small. My sandbox friends and I stand in the sandstorm of our own creation, 6 feet deep, and I am gagging on the sand, but I mourn them. We are a people divided, a people shrouded in clouds of bias and alternative facts. A hate deeper than can be recognized is handed down like the ugliest of heirlooms. So my sandbox friends enter adulthood, pre-adulthood really, where they cast something scarier than sand. They cast ballots. Adoring their unchildish freedoms, they stand in line, so proud, ready to vote for people in policy that would have their sandbox friends and I cast out. Build a wall, don't say gay, vote it down into a dust, ground under the boot of your cowboy. Yeehaw, baby! This is a damage that cannot be repaired by Scotch tape painting with noticeable brushstrokes. I wouldn't know how to repair this. So I'm mourning. Sandbox love never dies. So I bury my sandbox friends. I know there is still a heartbeat under the grains of silica dioxide. On the playground we grew up in, under Tonka trucks, there is potential. But I cannot wait. While sand still flies, it grinds me into the powder we bonded in. So I bury and I mourn and I eulogize our sandbox love. But I don't fit in their sandbox anymore. Rest in peace. Thank you.
Get loud for Abi! Judges, 3, 2, 1. We have a 9.2, a 9.3, a 9.5, an 8.6, and a 9.4. And our final score for Abi is 27.9. On deck, we have Ben Willis. Give it up for Helena Rink.
I'm a big girl now. That is what you would say when you were 5 or 6. At age 10, we were still being called Mama's little big girls. When we were 12, we couldn't wait to be 13, and at 13, we couldn't wait to be 14, and 14 for 15. But now that 16 is 6 months around the corner, we all begin to miss 5 or 6. Because, well, at 5, you're still being told, oh, you still have time, sweetie. And at 6, you're seeing how many times your rock can skip. But at 16, you're given a driver's license and told, go have fun. But remember, don't do anything dumb. You're asked, do you know what you're going to do after high school? And when you say some variation of that dumb 2-letter word, they say, well, you better figure that out. You don't got much time. Speaking of time, its definition is the indefinite and continued progress of existence and events in the past, present, and future. How did we lose so much time from when we were 5 or 6? Because now I feel like we've lost all sense of time, because 16 is 1 year closer. 1 month closer, 1 week closer, 1 day, 1 minute closer. Closer to the end, closer to saying, look at Mama's little big girl, as you squeeze her, because she looks just like you, and that's because she's the miniature version of us, and we're half her genes. 5. Oh, sweetie, you still have time. 6. How many times did it skip? 10. Look at Mama's little big girl. 12. God, you look just like me. 13. Look at you. You're officially a teen. 14. You're always going to be Mama's little big girl. 15, sorry. Do you know what you're going to do after high school? Now that 16 is 6 months around the corner for our little big girls, we can't help but find ourselves saying the same thing our mothers said to us. Oh, well, sweetie, you don't got much time. Take it from me. It's gone by way too fast.
Show some love for Helena. On deck, let me see them scores. 3, 2, 1. We have a 9.1, a 9.1, an 8.5, an 8.2, and an 8.6. And can we get that final score, please? We have a 26.2. On deck, we have Gracie Maier. But can we get a round of applause for Ben Willis?
Space. A vast expanse of nothingness. The nothingness that comes from the minds of those who seek to understand. Stars twinkling in that limitless blanket that holds me tight and gives me warmth and comfort as I gaze into its depths with unbound wonder. Always there, sometimes hidden by the light from the star of the world upon which we stand. A small little world in a vast expanse of nothingness. A world drowned in a light, a hallucination that this minuscule planet is the center of the reality. But the truth is, it's just a grain of sand in an endless ocean. And near that grain, billions of tiny little pebbles in a hula hoop of rocks hurling forward in an endless cycle around that grain of sand and that ball of gas that couldn't care less. One single pebble wobbles a bit. Left, right, fear. Fear that is generated from not knowing. Why are we here? Fear of falling into that vast expanse. Fear of losing everything. Reflecting on this world, this life. A life that is happy, a life that is peaceful, a life that is fulfilling. A life with the same old obstacles. The same old figments of reality that we devised. No happiness, no peace, no fulfillment until we have time to think. We surround ourselves with individual threads of reality stitch by stitch, but it's all a fantasy. Reality is what we want it to be. And when we see the world at its base, the world in its darkest light, the darkness of space, the darkness of night, we feel alone. Questions, so many questions. Are we living life, or is life out there? Is this everything there is, or are we just a speck of insignificant dreams in a world that strives to be what it is not? That one little asteroid wobbles back and forth a little bit more, accelerating faster and faster, finally tipping over the edge, falling into that vast expanse of nothingness. Yet that nothingness is everything. Seeing nothing, yet seeing everything. Time to think, time to know. A feeling of being alone in this vast universe, a feeling of solitude. We spend too much time focusing on this little world. The real world is much more expansive than politics, the internet, school, or any other troubles so common in our trivial lives. We need not focus on such trivial things when we can merely look to the stars and see it all. In the darkness of night and the darkness of space. Space, a vast expanse of nothingness. Nothing, yet everything.
Show some love for Ben. Judges, let me see them scores. 3, 2, 1. We have an 8.9, a 9.4, a 9.2, an 8.5, and an 8.9. We're almost there. And can I see that final score? We have a nice 27. And so, Northern Slam, we are halfway through our finals. But can I hear you get loud? Because it's not over yet. Can I hear you get loud? There we are. These poets have came out strong. And on deck, we have E.T. But get loud again for Gracie Maier.
You know my name, and this one is called We Must Choose to Be Kind. My blood boils. My eyes burn, and my heart cries out, we must choose to be kind. People quote prophets and figures, and people quote Jesus, but Jesus wouldn't have been so cruel. He was a kind soul. He loved without restrictions. We must be like that. We must reject cruelty. We must reject cruelty so cruelty doesn't consume our souls like it has done to others, our oppressors. They say, relax. They whisper about the prophets behind our backs, throw a bone we can chew on. Well, they steal our kibble by the handful, stuffing it down their shirts, in their pockets, and their shoes where we can't reach. And when we don't ask questions, we're given dog treats. And we lick to appease because we are their dogs and they're our owners. And we're all tired of licking to appease, so we want to be kind. We choose to be kind, so we don't let abuse become forgotten. We must choose to be kind. We must choose to love each other, and in doing so, we must choose to fight for each other. We cannot sit here and say we will be kind to those who hurt our brothers. We must feed our kindness to the earth. It is our mother and our children. We cannot abuse our children. We cannot disregard our mother. We leave her starved because we starve ourselves of the meal she created with her bare, calloused, and honest hands. While shoving our greedy hands so far up her intestines, they rupture, and her vomit stains every fast-fashion piece of clothing we collect. They strip her naked. Any comfort. But a woman will only be embarrassed for so long before she becomes revengeful, as she should. Don't you feel it? Don't you feel it in your heart? Doesn't your heart cry out like it does mine? Doesn't it want to love? Let us cry out together. Let us unite for the fight for kindness. Let us love. And let us become the pack of dogs that escaped our shelters because our owners abandoned us. That's right. They chose and still choose to be cruel. But it's our choice now. Cruelty or kindness. I choose to be kind. Do you? Thank you.
Show some love for Gracie. Judges, 3, 2, 1. We have a 9.5. Another 9.5. Oh, make it another 9.5. A 9.6 and a 9.7. That is straight elevation. And can I get a final score, please, from the masterminds? A 28.6. Didn't even need my binoculars. All right. On deck, we have Eleanor Brown. But get your hands together for E.T. Toboban.
That's a fun noise every time, isn't it? I hate you, but I get it. Here I am, kneeling down before you. I'm aware of what you've been through, this I know. For I once stood where you are, and I promise you won't get very far unless you trust me, if you can trust me. I bet it's strange to see, to witness someone else who is bleeding on their knees. You can't see that they are deceiving because you're the one that's pleasing those above you. But your voice also drips with malice. You're too stuck up in your palace that you've been blinded. To the very throne you sit upon, leaning from dusk to dawn on the people you swore to protect. What is next? I hate you. But I get it. It was just difficult to find that someone like you, who I thought to be so kind, could be rotten. All the way to your core, your heart is beating on the floor, lying in all the hate that you have spewed. But look at you. Then look back at me. I understand you're scared to leave, but while you're waiting for salvation, debating your creation, you lost. There's just one thing that I fail to understand is how someone like you could fall beneath a man you don't even know. I hate you, but I get it. They say that ignorance is bliss, but they said nothing about this, right? To just sit back and watch as everything that you thought to be true dissolve into nothing but lies. But you know what that implies, and you can't handle that truth because all throughout your youth, you have been told that no matter how old, how young, you are loved by someone somewhere, but now you're painfully aware that's not true. I hate you, but I get it. And I know you're racking through your mind, searching in earnest just to find a single reason to believe their claims, but you and I are all the same. We both found nothing. And it's startling at first. Then man's quest for knowledge, he came up empty-handed, lacking answers, denied of any solace from those who claim that they are flawless in their reasons. But you know as much as I that beyond that bright blue sky there is nothing. I hate you, but I get it. And I'm sorry that it's this way, that the world's full of this foul play, that you've been tricked, conned, and deceived. It's just so hard to believe that someone like you could end up just like me. You're now a traitor to everything you once stood for denying for a second, for denying all the beckons from those who stand above you, but you're in charge of what you do. Don't forget that. You hate me, and I get it. I know how they describe me as the enemy I would be if that were true. I once stood where you stand. I once fell beneath that man. By every rule I would abide, but I was cast aside, left to drown. In the ocean filled with lies, but now it's the two of us on this boat. And in order to truly float, you have to trust me. I will not steer you wrong. I can show you right from wrong only if you trust me. If you can trust me.
Show some love for E.T. And judges, you know what to do. 3, 2, 1. Let me see them scores. We have a 9.3, a 9.4, a 9.3, an 8.5, and a 9.1. And Brainiacs, Let me see that score, please. We have a 27.7. And we are down to 2 final poets. But before we conclude the night, they are going to slay this stage. So on deck, we have Creeann Jarman. But before we get to them, give a round of applause for Eleanor Brown.
I was drafted. Just a short 17 years ago, I was selected. But they're not selective. They'll take anyone who is receptive to fight in a war they've already won. I was drafted. But I wish it didn't happen. My name is not Marionette, but they are my puppet masters, my odd figure forced in starched fatigues that don't quite fit me. I drown in green and brown, covering up my sharp elbows and knobby knees to look, act, and be like everyone else in the synonymous 7 C's. I was drafted. And so were you. We're soldiers in formation, bleak uniforms of our creation, standing at attention, waiting for corporal social media and sergeant's trend and fad. We salute the flag of the United State of Complacency. And we stand there, with our hand held to our head, blank, glossy looks shadowing dread, and lap up the orders and the insults laid down at our feet and posted on our feeds. They're saying, you must have balance. You must look and act the same, yet have talent. You must never show your age, but be mature. Everyone must know your name, but your life story is an enigma, according to Section 4-3, Revisement B of the Great Document of Stigma. We are training each day for a military we hate. We squirm uncomfortably in place, in stagnant fashion, because this war has been ongoing since 1997, when social media showed its face and took control, sentencing us all to life in camouflage without parole. Camouflage found in both our uniforms and our souls. Because if we don't protect the prevaricative perfection of our personality, our protection is anywhere but guaranteed by the US of C, the United State of Complacency. Our anthem, please, oh please, have patience. Under the surface, bubbling up is our true person. We are ready to come forth and show our strange ways, to shed our baggy cover-ups and uncover our nooks and crannies, wrinkles and hand-me-down failures, fault lines and quirky behaviors. For we, the true men and women, for the act of opening the curtain will form the Republic of Eccentric. Everyone is granted entrance with a birth certificate and a license to feel, create, and be, and the 2 most important documents, the coming out of your shell affidavit and proof of personality.
Give it up for, show some love for Eleanor Brown. Judges, let me see those scores. 3, 2, 1. We have a 9.5, a 9.6, a 9.6, a 9.6. And do my eyes deceive me for another time, or do I see another 9.6? And can we get that final score? We have, my eyes are deceiving me. I have a 28.8. To wrap up the night, a beautiful night it has been. I want you to put your hands together for Creeann Jarman.
I'm scared to fall asleep at night because it means I have to see you. It means I have to face you, relive you, be you. Every time I close my eyes, I wonder if it'll be different this time. If maybe you'll be absent from this abyss in my mind, I wonder if what they told me was just dreams will ever mean anything. Because they're not just dreams. They're memories. They're moments trapped in time like snow globes, but the glass is broken and the liquid is ice cold. And I wonder, is this reality? Is this really actuality? They told me that my dreams could come true, but my nightmares are dreams too. I just never expected them to actually go through. Because sometimes when I dream, it doesn't make any sense. There's monsters and robots and dogs with 3 heads, but some nights when I'm trying to fall asleep, my mind is filled with distant memories. Memories of times when life was not so great. Stories of places that are so familiar yet not so distinct, and I can't help but think that if my dreams come true, will my nightmares be there too? Will I be cornered in a prison by the person I hate most? Will those memories of my childhood follow me home? Will I ever be able to lose you? Will I ever be able to have hope? Because until I can guarantee that my nightmares are not my dreams, then I'm afraid I just won't sleep. I want to dream of success and a different family. I want to dream of safety and economic prosperity. I wish my dreams were filled with gumdrops and lollipops, or sunsets and beaches, anything that could make this nightmare leave my head. But it's stuck on rewind, remind, retime, rethink, relive those horrible aching memories. We watch what happened over and over again. They will force me to see everything up close and personal as if I didn't already live it. If my dreams come true, can someone arrest my nightmares along the way? Lock them up and throw the key away? Dig a hole and bury them 6 feet deep? Do something so that they stop stalking me. Because no matter where I go, it doesn't matter where I sleep, the amount of blankets I have or the pillows next to me. It doesn't matter if I overdose on melatonin or if my room smells like lavender. I will never be able to get rid of this reminder. Every time I close my eyes, I'll get the recording again. Welcome to your nightmares. Which one would you like to watch next? The same memories circling around my head. So if you get the chance, unplug the TV in my mind. Throw away the VCR and leave the tapes behind, because my dreams might come true, but that means my nightmares will too.
Show some love for Creeann. And judges, on the count of 3, let me see those scores. 3, 2, 1. We have a 9.6, a 9.7, a 9.2, a 9.3, and a 9.5 for a grand total of 28.4. And so with that said, that concludes our slam for the evening, but we have some awards to hand out. I want to thank each and every last one of you for being here tonight. This is beautiful. When you leave here, know that creativity exists in each and every last one of us. Deep inside, there resides a poet, even if you haven't tapped that potential yet. You are walking poetry in motion. Your experiences, whether they conflict with one another, are all intertwined to create this reality. A reality that we are changing, for better, for worse, however you perceive it. We are all here gathered in an art form that we are all celebrating. And that in itself is beautiful. I want to thank each and every last poet. I want to thank Creeann Jarman, Gage Sicam, Eleanor Brown, Isaiah Brown, E.T. Toboban, Gracie Maier, Ben Willis, Serenity Chrisman, Helena Rink, Gino Lal, Abi Harget, Elijah Bonham, and Brandon Dean. All 13 of you have been phenomenal, and we have been thankful to hear each and every last one of your pieces, and the journey doesn't stop here. As someone who's on the slam scene regularly, there's so much potential out here in this world for each and every last one of you, and I want you to go out there and embrace it because you deserve it. Feel the money. Feel the money. And before we get into that, I want to also thank our 5 judges, Amanda Carpenter, Sarah Rooney, Meredith Jeffries, Mark Kuilla, and Matthew McKinney. I also want to thank our sacrificial poet of the evening, AP the Warrior. I want to thank our scorekeepers, Because librarians have let me know that math is not their first, thing, but neither is in mine, but nor is seen, obviously. But with that said, y'all ready for some awards? In third place, we have Abi Harget. Second place, we have Eleanor Brown. In first place, y'all ready? Y'all feel that? Oh, pins and needles. We have in first place, Gracie Maier! Give it up for all 3 winners tonight. Give it up for all 7 poets that are representing the North Slam in the Grand Slam against the Valley. And give it up to every single poet that stepped on this stage tonight and yourself for being here. I am Twan Simultaneous, and it has been an honor to be with each and every last one of you this evening. Good night, and we'll see you April 11th at the Grand Slam Championship, the throwdowns where they fight over that beautiful 3D printed trophy. Until then, love yourselves, love each other, and keep loving slam poetry. We're out.